especially the victims. So if you'd. Okay. So thank you for that. We have roll call.
Shelley,
Here.
Mahler,
Yes.
Wally,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, we have one change to the, no, we need approval of the meeting agenda, but we're gonna have one change to that. We are pulling item number K from old business, and moving it to the next meeting because the IEDA did not get back to Carla with who would be able to sign the documents, because I am on the board of the Nudgers and the mayor here, and so we might have to have Mayor Pro Tem sign those documents. And so we'll pull that and move it. And other than that change, does anybody have anything else they would like to amend? If not, I'd call for an approval of the agenda.
I move to approve that.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Roll call, sorry.
It's okay.
So I have Shelley.
Here.
Klein,
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Walling.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go on to the consent agenda. I'm going to try something a little different. If you guys don't like it after the meeting, you can let me know and we'll do it the old way the next time. But so the consent agenda, we're going to consider all items together. So we got the minutes of the December 18th regular meeting and the December 20th work session meeting. We've got 9 payments to Bolton and Mank and 1 to Region 12 for a total of $92,313.72. Claims register and financials of $1,544,517.05. We have 1 license for a retail alcohol license for the new Casey's Marketing Company, DBA Casey's General Store, number 4319 601 Sumas Avenue, a new Class C retail alcohol license effective January 15th, 2024. Tentative opening date is February 1st, 2024. On that, police inspections on file. The fire department hasn't gotten in there because it's not finished yet. So this will be pending the fire department getting in before they start up and approving that. So, and then we do have this for the same store, a tobacco, cigarette, alcohol, nicotine, vapor permit for the period of January 15th, 2024 to June 30th of 2024 for Casey's Marketing Company, DBA Casey's General Store, number 4319 601 Sumas Avenue.
Make a motion that we pass the consent agenda.
Okay, any other discussion?
I had a question, Dirk, regarding the, fire inspection. Is that done by Perry Fire?
Yes, it is. Yep. And if they find any problems, they make them fix them before they can open up and start the. Okay. We have roll call.
Walling.
Yes.
Mahler.
Yes.
Shelley.
Yeah.
Schott.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, move on to the city administrator's report.
I've been racking my brain a little bit about what to say, and I know the mayor has comments. We have a lot of projects going, obviously, and none of that really stops or slows down. But I do just really want to thank all of our responders that showed up on the 4th. I know our officer was there within about 2 minutes, which is really amazing. And got to give a shout out to Chief Vaughn and all of his officers. Just a really amazing response to that, and all of the law enforcement agencies that showed up. I think reflecting on Mayor Kavanaugh going over our core values, and every single person on our team stepped up to the plate that day and absolutely fulfilled our expectations of them, no matter what department they were in. Everybody played a part. Everybody's, really helped out. And that's evident, just from being able to help with crowd control at the day of the event, as well as services and things like that with Public Works. I know Parks Department was out helping as well. Rec Department threw together in a couple of hours on Sunday, a child watch program for the community. And that's been seeing everywhere from about 15 to 50 kids every day. And the library has been helping with that. Just every department has really come together as one. Also got to give credit to state and federal agencies working with us as well. So, as I reflect on this and everything that's happened in the last 11 days, I really want us to all be on the same page that that event is not our identity moving forward. The identity of Perry is really how we've responded, whether that's with raising money, putting out ribbons and just really supporting each other no matter what part of that event you were connected to. I really want that to be the showcase of what Perry is all about. So just a big thank you to everybody, my colleagues and friends from across the state and out of state have been incredible supports. It's just been a very humbling experience.
Anything else?
That's all from me.
Okay, so we'll go to the mayor council comments. Yeah, I prepared a few things. So again, I too would like to thank the Perry first responders and their prompt actions on January 4th. Also the fire department and council personnel or the city personnel who assisted as needed. I saw people out barricading roads and controlling traffic and other things. So it was a tough time. Thank you for that. Thanks to the county, state, and federal responders who came to help and those who continue to assist us with the investigation. I also want to send a thank you out to all the teachers, administrators who responded to the incident as trained and likely kept many out of harm's way. I want to also send a thank you out to all the cities who sent emails and cards expressing their condolences and offering to help in any way they needed. We had a really good public outreach to us and I'd like to acknowledge them. Then I want to acknowledge our city crews for the excellent response to the snowstorms we had this last week. Blowing snow and extremely low temperatures make it even more difficult, but they did an excellent job keeping our roads clear and allowing us to proceed through our day as close to normal as possible. So thank you for that. And I also want to wish everybody a happy Martin Luther King Day. Our city does not take the day off as a holiday. But thank you for all coming into work, but we just need to remember Dr. King and all he did. So thank you for that. So any other council comments?
I'd like to make a announcement that we are having a spaghetti benefit fundraiser on this Sunday, January 21st from 11 to 1 at the Elks Club. It's free will donation. We've been so overwhelmed by the generosity and the kindness of people who have come forward and has paid for this dinner for us for making it. So, but all donations will go to the Perry schools. And it's Janet Hick and myself that are putting it on, but we have a lot of volunteers too that are making this happen. So come out and have some dinner with us.
What time does it start?
11 to 1. 11 to 2, sorry, 11 to 2. It'll probably go longer. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just like to reiterate what's been said. Thank you to everybody. And the list is very long, but I felt proud to be from here. The way everybody has reacted to this thing. And then I also want to remind everybody that the Perry boys and girls play at Wells Fargo tomorrow night. And I was talking to a couple people before the meeting and they had a practice there last night. And I saw these kids playing basketball, which is just a simple thing, but they all had like just an air of normalcy for just a minute. And that was kind of cool to see. So I just want to invite everybody to come to that game tomorrow night and support these kids.
Okay, so we'll move to open forum. Just like to remind everyone that when you come up to the microphone, you need to state your name and address for the record. And you'll be given 3 minutes to address the council. So anybody would like to do that, please come up.
I'm gonna be a little bit repetitive from what I've heard tonight. First of all, thank you to everyone here. I just want to say, January 4th was a difficult day for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that responded, from my officers and to the dispatchers that were giving us that call, to the paramedics that showed up to help us, the fire department, the street department. And if you didn't see the law enforcement all throughout our community, everyone was represented from all the counties surrounding us, and just about every metro agency you could think of was there during that initial response. There weren't any egos in the room. Everybody just knew they were there to help. And just what can I do? And when you ask somebody to help you out, and I need this job done, they just went out and did it. So that was so appreciated. Things didn't work out the way we wanted them in this situation always. And my condolences and our department's condolences to Amir Jolif and Dan Marburger. And I just want to say thank you to everybody in the street department, everybody at the Public Works, the library, Parks Department and City Hall, for stepping up also and all the things that they've done and opening up their departments and helping us out during this situation and continuing through this situation. I know there's probably more things, but I just can't believe how many thanks I need to give out to the people that brought food that day and sent cards and just phone calls and checking on each other. And that's what we need to do right now, is check on each other. There's a lot of people hurting. We need to make sure that we're reaching out to those people and keeping an eye on one another today and going forward for some time. So again, just thank you to everybody for all that help that day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. On.
Thank you. I got a question for you, Chief Vaughn. There's been a lot of grief counseling and the grief animals going around town. You and your staff have been taking advantage of that and maybe sitting down, talking to grief counselors about the incident.
Yes, absolutely.
good,
Not only is,
good.
throughout,
Yes.
with the staff and the students at the schools, but also we've had people come in even on that first day to kind of talk through some things, and resources have been made available to our staff too. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just first want to start out by saying too that, we were there the day of it, and the coordination and everything could not be redone. And Eric and his staff and everybody did an amazing job, and they definitely need applauded for that. The other thing I wanted to say is, with the snow, we probably got more snow. I don't even remember when it started, honestly. We've been running nonstop, but probably got more snow these last 2 storms than we did for 3 months last year. So it was a lot of work. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the street department, parks department, cemetery department, police department. They went out and moved cars. They have other things to be doing. They towed cars, just everything that was going on. And the guys they're mentally drained. I think everyone is and stuff, but I think that everything that they did was top notch. Sven was always, texting me for different things and everything. And I was really proud to be part of this team. And I think that's something that's very evident in Perry, is how everybody will get through it, working together and everything. And it just goes to show, what a great community we really do have. So thanks for everything.
Thanks, Josh. Anyone else?
anybody online for open forum?
Okay, so we'll move on. Perry City Council will now hold a public hearing to inform the public of the proposed purchase agreement with 369 Sky LLC for a portion of public property recently vacated along West Fifth Street. This public hearing will start at 6:16. Anyone from the public like to comment?
So this is obviously the next action item, but this is what we've been working on for the last couple of months, probably through planning and zoning and city council, just getting through. But again, just a little sliver of what has been or was West Fifth Street, what would be, and it's only half of the right of way that would be there and needed for a whole street anyway. So just kind of one of those oddballs from the 1800s or 1900s that we're just getting cleaned up. But again, this is the next action item under old business.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 6:17. So that brings us to old business. So we're gonna have a resolution approving a purchase agreement for the sale of city-owned property. And the city wishes to sell a portion of recently vacated West Fifth Street to 369 Sky. And per the resolution 121823M, published and held the public hearing just a minute ago. So read through the rest of this, but basically we're going to get a purchase price of $500 for this. Directs the mayor and or city administrator to execute the documents necessary to sell and transfer the title to the described property. So does anyone want to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve resolution approving a purchase agreement for the sale of city-owned property.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call?
Mahler,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Walling. Yes. Schott,
Yes.
Okay, B on the agenda, approval of pay application number 31 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements. It's for $517,303.97 to Woodruff Construction. And to date, that represents a total of 92.5% of the total amount of work to be completed under the contract. And everything's been reviewed and signed by the engineers and are recommended for approval. I have a motion.
I make a motion, we approve pay application number 31 for the wastewater treatment facility improvements.
And I'll second that.
Okay, discussion?
52.5.
We're getting closer.
We
I certainly underlined it.
It was just yesterday, it was 5%.
Last month, I think we were talking about the electricians moved on site and they brought an army of personnel. They have made a lot of progress. Most of the work here in the last couple of weeks, I looked through my notes and make sure I don't mispronounce things. Nutrient basin equipment checks and pumps have been up and going. So we know that that process is working. They also, in the last 10 days, started up the clarifier pumps. So those are moving. Within the operations building, they got the generator up and going. The pumps have started up and going and the blowers have all been tested. And the next steps they're moving on to are moving into demoing the old equipment. Once the new stuff could start coming online piece at a time, starting to take out the old ones. So they've been working on taking out aeration basins and the biosolids tanks.
So how's this cold weather affecting?
Slowed down quite a bit. But the nice part with the electrical work, a lot of that is inside. And so they're able to continue moving around with insulation equipment, those kind of things. So those are all.
Tanks are not freezing over.
Haven't had any issues yet. So keep the water moving.
We're just, we're doing the real tests on.
So I have a question, just out of curiosity. So I know that we have our switchover date. Do we switch some of the stuff over as it comes online, or is it all just like one button one day, like we're done here?
For the most part, we're gonna try to do a one button switch. What the big thing is, as we're getting things installed at this point, we're making sure everything is operational and working. If there are pieces of the process that we can go over and switch now, we'll do so, but realistically, it is we're gonna move everything over to the new process, kind of all at one spot. We gotta make sure it all works before we do it. So awesome.
And I'd like to say, if you all hadn't been out there, I've been out there, a couple weeks ago, I went out there and I took a tour of it, Wicker. He took me out there, and it's very, interesting if you're understanding mechanics, and, there's a lot going on, and they are very proud of it. The gentleman that's out there running it, his name is Dave is, very proud to show you his equipment. And it's, yeah, and he gives you a better idea of what's broken and how it's broken and why it's broken and why they're switching it over. And it's a pretty good tour. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Josh.
Any other discussion? Have a roll call?
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Okay, item C, approval of pay application number 10 for the runway 14/32 relocation phase 2. It's in the amount of $21,451 to Manats Inc. For completion of work. Relocation has been received and signed by the project manager which recommends approval. So can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the pay application number 10 for the runway 14/32 relocation phase 2.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Tonight, we have Garrett joining us to provide an update. He's allowed inside. Usually he's out toiling on the runway, but Matt let him in the house tonight to.
A little chilly out the runway tonight.
The floor is yours, sir.
Yep, Garrett Jacobs of Bolton Mink. I'll go ahead and cover items C, D, and E. All three of these pay applications are wrap up end of year work. Pay application number 10 for phase 2 covers some tile work and box culvert removal. Pay application number 13 for phase 1 is some temporary mulching due to SWIP permit that we have ongoing with DNR. And then number 8 for phase 3 is some earthwork that we're getting ready to do the 1,500-foot extension. So,
That the extension going south.
correct. Yes.
Kind of slowed down right now, huh?
Yeah, just this thing. I'll comment on the next two when you guys get. Yep.
no other discussion? Can we have a roll call?
Klein,
Yes,
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay. Item D, approval of pay application number 13 for runway 14/32 relocation phase 1. It's in the amount of $24,535.28 to Wenthold Excavating LLC. Been approved by the project manager, lowers the retainage amount for the project down to 1%. The remaining amount of retainage will be released at close of the open grant as required by the FAA. So can I have a motion?
I make a motion we approve pay application number 13 for runway 14/32 relocation phase 1.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
So it's all done. We just have to wait for the retainage to clear.
So the way that these projects work, when you move a runway by 6 inches horizontally or 6 inches vertically, you're required to do an AGIS, which is Airport GIS survey. Because we're creating new approaches. You do a design AGIS, and at the end of the project, when everything's done and they've got all the navigational aids flight checked, they will do a post AGIS and get all the approaches published. But we're not quite to that point yet. When everything is paved and we're open, that's when we'll go ahead and be able to close it out.
May I have a roll call?
Walling,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes,
Shelley,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Okay, so item E, approval of pay application number 8 for the runway 14/32 relocation phase 3. It's in the amount of $150,052.50 to Manats Inc. for completion work on phase 3 of the runway relocation. Been signed off by the project manager who recommends approval. So can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve pay application number 8 for the runway 14-32 relocation phase 3.
I'll second that.
Any other questions?
And this was the majority of the runway extension earthwork that they were able to get done prior to freeze, correct?
Correct. So what we did was we had them focus on the runway pavement section so that come springtime, after we get the frost out of the ground, we can go ahead and get everything else ready while that contractor is doing the grading, continue to work along the shoulders, making everything kind of more efficient.
Were they able to get the whole 1,500 foot grade pretty much in?
Yeah, the whole pavement section is done. They were working on the shouldering up until a couple weeks ago, so.
Which, were they able to get one whole side done or brought back up or
Yeah,
a majority of it or something?
Pretty close. They
They-
would have been, they tried to get everything on the east side of the runway completed because we put in storm sewer, wanted to make sure that everything flowed through that and then out to its ultimate outlet point. Yeah, so.
A lot of dirt
A lot.
moved. It was very interesting to go out once a week or once every couple of weeks and see that giant pile that had sat there at the end of the runway or next to the runway for so many years just slowly disappear, but
Is it
kind
pretty
of
well
a-
gone now?
it's
Oh, it's gone.
pretty
It's
well gone, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Wow.
so I think they probably just have a pile of black dirt for the final grading around and then kind of, you know, last year we were kind of hopeful that we might be able to get it paved. But I think in the long term with the schedule, the way it turned out, being able to get that dirt placed, compacted to specifications, and then to be able to get one freeze thaw cycle on it will add years to the life of that pavement and make an overall better product in the end. So kind of a hard to just stare at that beautiful 4,000 feet of runway through the winter, but like I said, long run, it's gonna be better off, so.
Okay, can we have roll call?
Klein,
Yes.
Smaller,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott.
Okay, so we'll move on. F, resolution approving an amended and restated promise to purchase wetland mitigation bank credits agreement. So with the construction of the airport runway, we had to impact some wetlands. We needed credits. We signed a permit pursuant to a 404 permit per resolution 060622B. We promised to purchase wetland bank credits from McCorkle Wetlands Mitigation Bank for 9.5 acres of emergent wetland to offset the impact. Price was to be 60,000 per acre. Sale of land to McCorkle. To construct wetlands was not completed due to an increase in cost, so they have now found another parcel, but the cost is still higher, so they're asking an additional 20,000 per acre for the required 9.5 acres of wetland mitigation credits. So this resolution would accept the amended and restated promise to purchase wetlands mitigation bank credits agreement for the purchase of 9.5 acres. And just to let you know that the FAA has agreed to fund the additional 190,000 of the wetlands credit at 90% under the phase 1 construction phase 2 design grant number 3-19-0074-014-2021, leaving the city responsible for 10% of cost being 19,000. So can we have a motion?
I make a motion, we pass a resolution approving an amended and restated promise to purchase wetland mitigation bank credits agreement.
Second that.
Okay, any other discussion?
Ouch.
The wetland,
$80,000 an acre for wetland?
For the credits, yeah. Yep.
that includes
I want to
birds.
say.
Does that
Wasn't
include the water?
Or the birds.
includes the ducks comes with it. I want to say when we
Expensive, though.
first started, Dallas County was charging 40,000.
35,000 when we started.
Yeah.
The original budget was a $35,000 per acre estimate.
And that's probably the difference between, probably about 2010.
2012 to now.
Yeah,
So they've
so
more than
difference of-
doubled.
Wow.
So that also reflects general construction costs of these projects we look at of what we do. So again, going into budget season, it's definitely dollars go a lot less far.
I
than
think
they used to.
that's a good portion of it. Also, the requirements.
Feel old saying that. Back in my day, it was cheap to do this stuff.
Well, the
Right,
requirements
Suze?
that are put on the land
So
are
are
now
we
also.
buying this ground from a farmer? In a roundabout way or
Kind of.
kind of?
Kind of. It's almost like a developer. So you've got a broker that goes through that sets them up, buys the ground, he creates the wetland. And then we buy the
It
credits.
wasn't
of
a
it.
natural wetland.
No, they're creating it.
They're
It has,
creating
now I
it.
should say, not entirely true. Either. It has to have had wetland life at one point, so it has to have met the criteria that at some point this was a wetland. It has, certain species of plants, those kind of things that have been in the area. The easiest way it was explained to me when we were looking around the area for sites was to essentially look at a farm field. If it has a spot where there's no crops growing,
Uh-huh.
that probably at one point was a wetland in that area.
So basically looking for fields or large tracts of land that have been tiled for drainage. And then that developer goes in and buys it, tears out all of the tile and improves that to be a better wetland habitat. And then each acre is a credit. And then by creating wetlands over here, you can remove a wetland over here as long as you buy one of these credits to offset what you do. So
So do we know where our wetland is gonna be?
What was the question?
Do we know where our wetland is gonna be so we can go pet the ducks?
I'm not saying anything because he wants to hunt. It's north of here. Towards Ames.
So did you have the opportunity to do this in 2012?
No.
no, not at that time.
Go ahead.
No.
So the difference is that when we budgeted this project, the funds were not in place for the project. So keep in mind, that's 12 years ago. As we went forward and COVID hit, this project became a reality with COVID relief funds. And as a result of that, we had to update the cost, update the process, and started through the process in 2020. And so it's been in the works for quite a long time.
And you cannot buy the credits or reserve the credits unless you have a project approved by the Corps. And there have been no wetland credits in our area. So we've been trying to wait on a new bank to be created. Otherwise, they're gonna make us go outside of our drainage area, which would be the Des Moines River Basin, right? Wasn't there a bank over on the East Coast?
There was a bank over towards the Davenport area.
Yeah.
I want to say it was 2.5 to 1. So for every acre we disturbed, we had to buy 2.5 out of that bank versus a 1-to-1 within our own basin.
Wow.
So $80,000 is not that bad.
And this is not even in Dallas County, this wetland.
No.
It's just say north.
No, when we're purchasing, it's not. It has to be within the basin of the drainage district.
Go buy me a pothole full of farm.
And this is one that the Army Corps and the FAA have to agree on and all be on the same page, which is this patch of gray right back here on my head. So
I have the same patch right there. Sure.
So when they do these banks, is this a fairly large area? So it's not
Yeah.
only including our 9.5
Yeah,
acres, but it's including 60 other acres or something?
Generally, they usually are upwards of 200 to 300 acres. Sometimes they're large. Yeah.
So the wetlands, Dallas County's wetlands are right next to Minburn.
Uh-huh.
And that was a
Slough?
100. What is that?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
You're supposed to.
I was gonna say the Brent Slough's being expanded.
That's over by Yale, though, right?
No.
Okay. That was like 175 acres or something like that. So they started with 175 credits and then sold it down to where they only have a few left for a project they already have in the works, so. Which is why we can't just knock on Mike Wallace's door and buy those, so. Trust me, we not.
Just curious.
I learned that 5 years ago, we should have got a fire truck with wetlands.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's what we both.
Yeah.
Let's buy apples.
Hindsight.
It's never too late. You're still young.
Nice property in Vegas too.
Any other discussion? Okay, can we have roll call?
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes,
Okay, go on to item G, resolution approving work order number 10, scope of work for the AWS replacement. Got notified in September 2023 that we needed to relocate this equipment. It's got to be relocated before commissioning the runway. And then considering the age of the existing equipment, it was proposed to replace it instead of relocating it. So resolution would approve work order number 10, scope of work in the amount of 50,000. The FAA has agreed to fund the cost of the work order number 10 at 90% under the phase 1 construction, phase 2 design grant. Number 3-19-0074-014-2021, leaving us with 10% of the costs or $5,000. The FAA has also agreed to fund the project of the AWAS replacement at 90% under the phase 2 construction grant. And we're only responsible for 10% of that project costs.
I make a motion, we pass the resolution approving work order number 10, scope work for the AWAS.
A second.
Is this going to be an upgraded system or pretty much the same as what they have?
Yes, so the system that's out there right now was constructed in 2006, so it's getting really old. We had to repower it last year when we did grading through where the power cables came out to the facility. And it was up for about 12 hours and then the power source essentially fried itself. And it took, I think, like 3 months to get the DBT Transportation Services does the maintenance on those facilities for the DOT. That long to get it back up and running. And since then it's had multiple occurrences of just more and more issues. So having that in mind, like, let's just put in a new facility and it'll be just like everywhere else in the state that's getting a new one. So this will be a AWAS 3 PT is what it's called. And just in general, it's an automated weather observation system.
And it's got a power supply that is not gonna get fried.
Shouldn't. Yeah, everything will be new.
Be under warranty.
Also, one new thing that with the DOT has requirements and everything, there's certain warranties that have to be held, certain insurances on the facility itself, so it's all covered.
Is that average like 20 years life expectancy or something like that?
Yeah, so the FAA and the AIP handbook has spelled out for each different kind of project what the useful life is. And for nav aids and navigational aids are 15 years. So they can, you can go beyond that, but when you get to a point where we're having to replace things and it's constantly down, I mean, it's go time. You got to do something about it. So.
And keep in mind, even though for both design and construction of this, us being responsible for 10%, with COVID and a lot of this project, it's being covered at 100%. So some of this stuff is just at 90%, which I believe most of the land acquisition was at 100%. So that was like $2 million in itself. So plus some of the construction and things like that. We're doing okay overall on this project.
Good. And we'll have a new weather station.
And the pilots will be very happy. Liz gets a lot of phone calls when it's down.
I'm sure.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you, Garrett.
have roll call.
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Schott,
yes.
Klein.
yes,
Okay, item H, resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications, and form of contract and notice to bidders fixing amount of bidders check and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on the plan, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for Frog Creek restoration. So Bolton and Manx completed the public bidding documents, and so anticipates work to commence upon approval of the contract by the city council and upon written notice to proceed with a substantial completion date on or before October 1st, 2024. Public hearing will be set for 6 p.m. on February 20th, 2024 on the second floor meeting room of the Towncraft Building located at 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. With the public hearing notice and advertising for bids will be published in accordance with the law. I have a motion.
I make a motion to approve resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications, and form of contract and notice to bidder, fixing amount of bidder's check, and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on the plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for Frog Creek restoration.
I'll second that.
We're going at it again.
So as you alluded to, you should all be, I think, familiar with this one. We did bid this project a year ago. At the time when we bid it, we did realize there was a shortage of contractors, a lot of very little interest in the project, so the bids did come in very high. As a result, we worked with the state, to see if there were any changes they would recommend to it, since they have a $500,000 grant in it. We also decided, as you see, the next item behind is the Iowa Street project. Both are very similar in grading operations, so we thought there was probably some opportunity to be more efficient, save some dollars by bidding those two projects together. So that's what this one is. In theory, we've not changed the project. It still has the same goals.
In theory, did we save some money?
We'll find out.
So we're gonna try to bid both of these projects at once and hopefully get one bid.
Right, that's what we're thinking is with the operations between the two. Ideally, it's a larger dirt contractor. The second project here, the Iowa Street project, has around 70,000 yards of dirt in it. Which would definitely entice somebody to have a little more interest in coming into bid a project. If they're gonna be here doing that one, it just makes sense for them to be over doing Frog Creek as well, since it's primarily dirt work.
We're gonna build a new tile out of the airport.
We are actually. It's in the plans to move it to the airport, so.
Another note on Frog Creek is one of the items that was significantly higher than expected was clearing and grubbing along the creek. So the Parks Department and Public Works Department will be working together on some of that work. And that was noted in the plan. So a little bit of a change to the plans in that regard. Other than that, it's all pretty much the same. So
we'll be grubbing up much of it. They'll have,
as long as it stops snowing,
huh?
as long as it stops snowing.
Yes.
One of these.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have roll call.
Klein,
Yes.
Smaller.
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Shot.
Yes.
Okay, item I, resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications and form of contract and notice to bidders, fixing amount of bidders check and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on the plan, specifications, form of contract and estimate of cost for the Iowa Street stormwater wetland. And again, Bolton and Mank plan together, and we're beginning the bidding process. Project will commence upon approval of the contract by the city council and upon written notice to proceed with substantial completion date on or before November 29th, 2024. Public hearing will be set for 6 p.m. on February 20th, 2024 in the second floor meeting room of the Towncraft Building located at 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. Both the public hearing notice and the advertisement for bids will be published in accordance with law. You have a motion.
I make a motion, we pass a resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications and form of contract and notice to bidder, fixing amount, bidder's check and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract and estimate of costs for Iowa Street stormwater wetland.
I'll second.
So the 2 month later completion date is so that the contractor can get in and complete both projects at
That's what we're
It's the
hoping
same
for. So
construction
This,
crew.
this is a project that, city staff and our funding department work together with the state of Iowa. It has SRF money in it, Iowa Department of Agricultural Land Stewardship money and Water Quality Initiative money in it. The overall purpose of the project is to start to alleviate some of the pressures that are in the storm sewer system that are happening out along the Iowa Street area out there. For anybody who's been out there in a rain event, if you come up to Willis where 26th comes in, you can watch manholes popping off either side of the road when there's too much water in there. So what we're looking to do is slow down the water that's coming from the agricultural area to the south that's coming underneath 141, funnel it through these wetlands, let the city's water get out of the system, and then let this water get out.
Does plan still include a little park in that area?
Eventually, it's set up to do it. We didn't have the funding right now to do the park, but we did concept it. We know we can put it in there. We know where it needs to go. That'll probably be looking at some future grants for those. I think we might have pushed the limit about as far as they're gonna let us push it for us to get fun. So.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mahler,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Okay, item J, resolution ordering bids, approving plans, specifications and form of contract and notice to bidder, fixing amounts of bidders check and ordering and publishing notice for a public hearing on the plans, specifications, form of contract and estimate of cost for the 2024 street repairs. Bolton and Mink has put together the plans. Anticipates the project to commence upon approval of the contract by the city council and upon written notice to proceed with substantial completion date on or before September 30th, 2024. Public hearing will be set for 6 p.m. on February 20th, 2024 in the second floor meeting room of the Town Craft Building located at 1122 Willis Avenue, Perry, Iowa. Both public hearing notice and advertisement for bids will be published in accordance with law. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Come on. I'll second that. There you go.
So you've probably seen similar packages to this. This is the next round of multiple streets around the community. You will notice that there's actually a couple of parking lots. So down by Patty Park, just doing the standard overlay. Some roads are mill and overlay. So that's kind of the package we're pulling together here.
There's even an alley in there.
Yep, there's a couple alleys actually. So the one thing with the alleys here with the downtown project, looking at the cost benefit, we took the asphalt off of the downtown project just with the smaller quantity. Package it up with the larger project to try getting better unit prices for that.
Great. So how many blocks do you got?
I think we were close to 50, 60. The parking lots kind of throw that number off just
Yeah.
because the average, but I believe we were around 50 to 60.
And usually, once we get the bids in, after we approve the contracts, we can fine tune quantities based on the cost, just to get exactly what we need. So, also, didn't thank them, but I realized they should have all of the stuff on this agenda. Really did not even hit my desk in the last couple of weeks. So want to give a shout out to Jacob, Matt, Garrett, and their whole team, just for basically just taking care of stuff the last couple of weeks. They're a phenomenal team and they've had personal connections to those involved as well that they've been working through. But when I talk about the team we have, it's not just our leadership team or our staff. Bolton and Mink is definitely right there, involved in the thick of it. And like I said, they just did it. Nobody had to say anything. Nobody had to remind them of anything. It just showed up in Liz's inbox.
I really appreciate that.
And they just made it happen. So immensely grateful for that and the working relationship we have with those folks. And the deep discounts they give us as well.
Okay, roll call.
Schott,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Shelley,
Yes.
Mahler,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Okay, item K, that's one we deferred to next meeting, so we'll pass over that for today. Got one item of new business, resolution making council appointments for various positions and committees. So on the committee side of things, we haven't quite got that worked out because Sven was wanting to maybe move a few people around. We have to decide how we want to do that. Then I'd like to get with each of the council members, to make sure they're happy with the committees they will be on. So that will come up probably at our next meeting. But for this one, we're going to recommend that Chuck Schott be reappointed as mayor pro tem for the period January 15th through December 31st, 2024. And that Carolyn McNeil be reappointed as Perry Daycare Inc. and Dallas County Early Childhood Education Board for the period of January 15th, 2024 to December 31st of 2024. I have a motion.
I would move motion, resolution making council appointment to various positions and committee.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call?
Shelley,
Yeah.
Mahler,
Yes.
Walling,
Yes.
Schott,
I'll abstain.
and Klein.
Yes.
Okay, any other business anybody would like to discuss? If not, do we need a motion to adjourn?
You just.
Just adjourn, okay. Meeting is adjourned at 6:52. All right, now everybody go caucusing.
Oh.